Well, get your resumes ready for an employment opportunity that doesn't come around very often.
Yeah, the largest airline to serve Charlotte Douglas, American Airlines, ready to give some people their chance to earn their wings as a flight attendant. Now, Queen City News transportation expert Hawker Vanguard joins us now live with how we can apply.
Yeah, and Hawker Airlines hiring again. Is that a good sign for the industry as COVID still dominates the travel world?
Yeah, Brian, it's a great sign as more airlines continue to grow more routes and bringing back the ones that we lost when COVID really broke out. But when it comes to American Airlines in general, we have that application window opening starting today. It opened at 10 a.m. and I went on the site as soon as it opened, and it was very slow, which means lots of people were on there submitting their applications. The airline says it's only going to be open for a very short amount of time. So if this is something that interests you, you definitely want to get your application in sooner rather than later. Now, if you do want to apply, there's just a few small requirements you have to meet. You have to be 20 years old at least, a U.S. citizen that holds a passport or a legal resident, someone who can travel around the world without any type of visa issues or anything like that. But here in Charlotte, you know, if you become based here, it's a very large base for American Airlines. It's a diverse family tree of airline employees. We have Allegheny, Piedmont, PSA. All of those airlines came together to create U.S. Air, which then became U.S. Airways, which merged with America West. And of course, now we're Americans. So a lot of different employees and employee groups going in, and they're hoping you can join as well. And Brian, it's a very exciting thing despite, you know, what we're seeing in the headlines right now.
Yeah, and speaking of what we're seeing in the headlines right now, there's no doubt with all the high-profile incidents happening on board planes, Hawker, these days, running to a job where there's the potential for conflict just is not on everyone's list. You know firsthand, is this worth it? And what kinds of things can you do to be able to learn at and be really good as a flight attendant in the flight attendant training program?
Yeah, it's a rewarding job to have, and you get to serve a lot of passengers, and we show you almost weekly the types of things that flight attendants and flight crew deal with in the cabin, and they're not always the happy scenarios. There's a lot of conflict that goes on, but the challenges of getting through training, it's a 6-week course that's intense, and you have to have your nose on the grindstone. Getting through training with the aircraft systems tests and the emergency evacuation procedures, that's of #1 importance when you're in training, though. So it's not all service and you know, popping a Coke and handing out pretzels. It's a lot of things that go into it safety-wise. So you're going to learn CPR, basic life support, what you need to know to save somebody's life on board the aircraft. One of my favorite things is the ditching drills. You have to know how to survive at sea if your aircraft was to go down in the middle of the ocean. And you know, of course, my one favorite thing is jumping the slide. So you get to jump out of an evacuation slide, get at the end there, and your classmates are there holding on to you. But it's really it's a great experience, and you earn friends, and you get to know friends for a lifetime. This is my class, U.S. Airways 1406. They're really people that you will come to love as well as the passengers and everything else that goes into flying, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, very rewarding and certainly a lot to think about. Safety aspects of the job and being a flight attendant. So for someone like American Airlines and Hawker Vanguard, thank you for keeping us up to date with the hires and Americans expansions.